What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Look at this nice and beautiful question on the board that we're going to be solving. And the question says, find the value of x for which the square root of 2 plus the square root of x is equal to 2. Well, our first step will be for us to take the square of both sides. So for the left-hand side, I have the square root of 2 plus the square root of x, and I'm going to be taking the square of the left equal to, for the right hand side I have 2, and I'm also going to take the square of the right hand side. Now the left hand side is of the form a plus b all squared, and this is simplified into a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So looking at this, you see that a is in the form of the square root of 2 and b is in the form of the square root of x. So let's expand this like this. So we have a squared, which is the square root of 2 squared, plus 2ab, so plus 2a. A is the square root of 2 times b. B is the square root of x, and then plus b squared. So plus b, that's the square root of x squared. So we've been able to expand this like this. And this is equal to 2 squared is 4. Now notice that the square can cancel off the square root, leaving behind 2 plus 2. Now this is the square root of 2 times the square root of x. Since they have a common root, which is square root, we can take the common square root and multiply what we have inside. So 2 times x is 2x. And then plus, now this square can cancel off the square root, leaving behind x. And this is equal to 4. Our next step will be for us to move 2 and x to the right hand side, so that we have 2 times the square root of 2x to be equal to, so I've already got 4 on the right. As 2 crosses to the right, it becomes minus 2. And as x crosses to the right, it becomes minus x. So this simplifies into 2 times the square root of 2x is equal to, now 4 minus 2 is 2 minus x. Our next step will be for us to divide both sides by 2 in order to isolate the radical. So divide the left hand side by 2 and also divide the right hand side by 2. Now notice that 2 can cancel off 2, leaving behind the square root of 2x to be equal to 2 minus x all over 2. Our next step will be for us to take the square of both sides. So I'm going to be squaring the left hand side, and I'll also square the right hand side. Now notice that this square can cancel off the square root, leaving behind 2x to be equal to, now what I have here can be written as 2 minus x raised to the power of 2 all over 2 raised to the power of 2. Because from indices, this power of 2 is affecting the numerator and is also affecting the denominator. Now let's move forward. Our next step will be for us to simplify the right hand side. So we have 2x to be equal to, now I'm going to be expanding this. This expression on the numerator is of the form a minus b all squared equal to a squared minus 2ab and then plus b squared. Now comparing, you see that a is in the form of 2 and b is in the form of x. So let's express this like this. So we have a squared, that's 2 squared. So 2 squared minus 2ab. A is 2 and b is x. 2ab, that is times 2 times x, then plus b squared, that's x squared, all over. Now for the denominator, I have 2 squared, which gives 4. So this becomes 2x equal to 2 squared is 4 minus 2 times 2 times x is 4x and then plus x squared all over 4. Our next step will be for us to get rid of this 4, which is this denominator. And we're going to do that by multiplying both sides by 4. So I multiply the left-hand side by 4. So 4 times 2x equal to the right-hand side. I'll do the same thing and multiply the right-hand side by 4. So 4 times 4 minus 4x plus x squared all over 4. Now notice that this 4 can cancel off this 4. So we have 4 times 2x, that's 8x, to be equal to, now this is what I have remaining, which is 4 minus 4x plus x squared. So we have a quadratic equation here. Well, for this quadratic equation, our next step will be for us to arrange it. So we have x squared. I'm going to be moving 8x to the right hand side. But before then, I've already got negative 4x there. So negative 4x. So as 8x crosses to the right, it becomes negative 8x and then plus 4. So you notice that I moved this 8x to the right hand side, making all the terms to be on one side equal to 0. So this simplifies into x squared. Now minus 4x minus 8x is minus 12x plus 4 equal to 0. Now we have a quadratic equation and we're going to be using the general formula to solve this. Now using the general formula, we know that our a, which is the coefficient of x squared, is 1. Our b, which is the coefficient of x, is negative 12. And our c, which is a constant term, is 4. So let's apply the general formula or the quadratic formula on the next slide. So the quadratic formula is, we're looking for x. So x is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So on substituting, we have x to be equal to negative b. So negative b is negative 12. Then plus or minus the square root of b squared, that's negative 12 squared, minus 4ac, that's 4 times a is 1, and c is 4, all over 2a, that's 2 times 1. So this simplifies into x equal to, Now, minus times minus gives plus, so this becomes positive 12 plus or minus the square root of, now negative 12 squared is 144 minus, now 4 times 1 times 4 is 16, so all over 2 times 1 is 2. So x is equal to 12 plus or minus the square root of, now 144 minus 16 is 128 all over 2. So x becomes 12 plus or minus, well, the square root of 128 can be simplified into, by breaking it down, we need a perfect square and another factor of 128. So the perfect square we're using is 64 times 2, which gives 128 all over 2. Simplifying further, x is equal to 12 plus or minus. Now, this is the square root of 64 times the square root of 2. So going with the square root of 64, the square root of 64 gives 8 times the square root of 2 all over 2. Let's move forward. Now notice that 4 is common on the numerator. So we have to factor out 4. So we have x to be equal to factor out 4. So that we have 12 divided by 4 gives 3 plus or minus 8 root 2 divided by 4, that's 2 root 2 all over 2. So 2 here 1 and 2 here gives 2. Now this results to x to be equal to 2 times 3 plus or minus 2 root 2. So we have two values for x here. We'll go with the first one, which is x equal to 2 times 3. The first one is plus 2 root 2, or the other value for x is equal to 2 times 3. Now going with the negative, negative 2 root 2. Remember that the actual question is the square root of 2 plus the square root of x is equal to 2. And from these two given answers, on checking, we see that 2 times 3 plus 2 root 2 does not satisfy the equation. So we're going to be rejecting this answer. But this, which is 2 times 3 minus 2 root 2, actually satisfy the given equation. So this is a tick. Well, feel free to share your ideas in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video and have learned something from this video, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't. Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss my upcoming videos. And like I always say, until next time, take care.